Okay. So good evening, everyone. I think let's just start. And I think in the meantime, people will start joining in. So before we start, right, before we talk about the topic in hand, which is how do you discover the right investor for you through the YNOS Venture Engine platform? I have a question for each one of you. Feel free to just use the chat window to put in your messages, or you could also unmute yourself and speak. Highly recommend that. So again, thank you everyone for joining. I hope all of us can have a very interactive session going forward. Let me just quickly post the question right here. So as an entrepreneur, what is the most critical challenge you encounter when it comes to fundraising? Right, so that's the question. You can go ahead, use the chat window and tell me what is the most critical challenge you face when it comes to fundraising? Umar Shankaran has responded saying it's a team. Okay. Can you elaborate a little bit, Umar Shankaran? What do you mean when you say team?
Yeah, yes. Thank you for the session, ma'am. Actually, when we are
I think I lost you. Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Please go.
Yeah. No, usually the startup, when we going for the funding, right? So people, the investors really looking for the team, strong team. So this is the key point when we successfully raise the fund. So this is my answer.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that, Umar. Do we have more answers? Anyone else thinks, okay, not team, something else is more important, or some other challenge that you have faced when you have personally tried to pitch to an investor? Anyone else wants to add it? Okay, Srinivas said, proper presentation of idea. Okay, how do you pitch your idea, right? How do you properly present your idea? Sandeep, sorry, you had an answer.
Yes. Did you get my message?
No, not yet.
Okay, I don't know where it's gone. Anyway,
No.
I think the critical challenge is, finding someone who understands your domain and the vision that you bring from that domain.
Right.
So if you have someone who understands where you're operating, it makes the things a little easier.
Absolutely. So then how do you identify that investor, right, who is familiar with your domain? And how do you then go on to have a meaningful conversation with them? Perfect.
Yes.
Thanks, Abhi. Vivian's responded saying existing revenue, open to pre-sale funding. Vivian, would you like to elaborate a little bit?
Like for some businesses, exact example ours, we haven't really gone out into the market. So people want to see the audience acceptance. They want to see some revenue, but here, we are looking for a pre-sale funding. So how to approach a situation such?
Understood. Very great point, Vivian. I have one more point that's coming from O'Neill. Finding the right investor. How do you find the right investor, right? So that is the $1,000,000 question. Perfect. So thank you for your responses. O'Neill, you have something to say?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with what Srinivas said. Yes, finding the right investor and finding somebody who endorses what your product is all about. If it resonates with that is very critical. Understanding what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to product, or what I'm trying to produce, or what I'm trying to create is something also very critical. It's just not the money part of it, because they also need to understand, because they also need to invest themselves into the product. Okay, so
Absolutely.
that's also very critical.
Absolutely. So you're not just bringing in an investor, right? You're bringing in someone who is invested into your business, your ideas. It's not just about the money, right? How can you bring in a collaborative partner? Absolutely.
Exactly.
Thank you. We have a few more answers that have come in from Sijo. Sorry, before that, Karthik has said clarity of thought, right? Karthik, would you want to elaborate?
Sure. Hi. everyone. So I am actually an early investor, so I'm curious to see how you guys go about doing this, so that I can also learn. But I feel like investors also looking to kind of understand, right? But then if you're in the market looking for what is good, it's no different than other things. I mean, I'm not trying to discount the effort that everybody puts in, but I feel like investors also are looking to understand, right? So I feel like if somebody is able to clearly articulate, yes, I think the excitement aspect is one thing, but then everybody would help and everybody would be willing to help. It's just a matter of where do we focus our time and energy, right? Of course, money. So I feel like if somebody is coming across clearly, I think somebody even said earlier that, we're not there yet, but even explaining that clearly sets the right tone, right? So that we know what to expect. So I feel like being able to trust that initially with some clarity, I feel would go a long way.
Absolutely. Thank you, Karthik. So entrepreneurs, we have an investor amongst us. Karthik has joined. Thank you so much. Karthik, we would also, while we're taking the participants through the demo, as an investor, right, if you please feel free to bring in your point of view. So very much appreciate you joining. We also have a message from Sijo Zakaria, who says, I feel this angel investor and VCs are hidden. I've hardly heard back from anyone in current market when major banks are also doing shut shop. Right. So how do you then identify the right investor? Coming back to the topic. Sumanta Biswal has said reason for funding with details breakup. Right. So how are you going to use the funds? Why do you need funds? Why is it important that that particular investor gives you whatever you ask of the investor? Right. So how are you going to use it? Right. So Sumanta, thank you again for that input. So I think we have enough number of responses that have come in. I don't think I've missed any. All right, so let's then get into the topic itself, right? How do you then discover the right investor? I think in multiple ways, all of us have spoken about the same thing. How do you find the right investor who's interested in your domain, who's interested in investing, who can, how do you find the one who can articulate the reasons for investing in a startup like yours? Perfect. So with that context, let me then take you through what is it that we do at YNOS Venture Engine and how we can enable entrepreneurs like you to reach out to the right investor, identify and reach out to the right investor and help that deal going. Right. So let me just give you a quick context of what is it that we do at YNOS Venture Engine. I hope my screen is still visible.
Yes, Pony, it's visible.
Cool.
Yeah, audio is also clear.
Perfect. So, this seemed like a very good segue into what is it that YNOS does. We are essentially a platform that we've built for entrepreneurs, for early stage entrepreneurs. We are incubated at the IIT Madras Incubation Cell. We have various products and services that any entrepreneur can use to identify the right investor, sort of validate your idea. We have mentorship that is available, both subject matter experts as well as business experts. It can help you with various aspects of building a business. So whatever problem that you're facing as an early stage entrepreneur, we have solutions for it. This was, as I mentioned, incubated at the IIT Madras Incubation Cell. It was also founded by a professor at IIT Madras called Dr. Pillai Rajan. I think it's, before we go into the details of what YNOS is, I think it's quite important that I brief you a little bit on the origin story. So YNOS was started back in 2017 by Professor Pillai Rajan. Back then in 2017, if you notice the various organizations, various platforms that were available were very investor centric. And, Professor sort of understood that it's quite difficult to, for anyone, any entrepreneur, any early stage entrepreneur who does not have access to the right networks, to the right investors, to then build a business. And so he wanted to create a platform that can, solve for the problems that any early stage entrepreneur faces. And that's how YNOS sort of came into the picture. I'm going to take you through the various products that we've built. But before that, just looking at showing you the stats. This is the kind of number that we have on the platform. We have 160,000 startups, early stage startups from India that are listed on the YNOS platform currently. We also have investors. We have 8,100 investors who are angel investors. And we also have 3,600 VCs, angel networks from India, as well as abroad listed on the YNOS platform. We also have 840 incubators that are listed, and we also have information on founders and deals. So it's a very, if you look at the kind of data, the information that we have in the platform, it's the largest in India currently on the early stage ecosystem. So what is it that we provide to entrepreneurs? So how can we essentially help you, right? So when it comes to fundraising, I think the main aspect that YNOS can help you with is fundraising. So through YNOS, you get access to more than 11,500 angel investors, VCs, and angel networks. All of the information that is required for you to identify who is the right investor for you, for your startup, is available on the platform. So there are, so many variables that we track, over 400 plus variables that we track on any entity that we have on the platform. Specifically, if you're taking on an angel investor, right? We have information on their past investments, who are the co-investors that they've currently invested in, how actively do they invest? So various factors that enable you to make the right decision. We also have a recommendation list of investors that are most appropriate for your venture, right? So there are various filters in place. I will take you through that, so which can shortlist investors. But apart from that, we've also built an AI-enabled engine, which will essentially look at the profile of your startup and recommend investors to you that are most likely to invest in a startup like yours. Okay, now what if you sort of pulled out a list of investors, and let's say you have a list of 30 investors. What do you do then, right? YNOS, as an intermediary, we can introduce you to the recommended investor so that you have, you don't have to write directly, but we can help introduce you to the investor. And that is another feature that we offer. It's not just, getting an appointment with the investor, but in that appointment, how do you perform? That's extremely important. And so we help you become investor ready. We help you with the business plan, with the pitch deck, everything you need to be ready with when you have that first meeting with the investor. YNOS can help you with that. We also conduct various pitch sessions with VCs and angel networks. And we sort of understand their requirements and we can help you get a kickstart, in that particular pitch session where you can directly pitch to the investor and get a feedback and then take it forward with the investor. So with respect to fundraising, there are various features that we offer. But apart from that, there are also other benefits that any entrepreneur has from the YNOS platform. Number one, if you're looking to, understand who your competitors are and do a proper, competition analysis, understand your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, we have a product that can help you with that. There is a product that helps you estimate the valuation of your venture. So here again, in that first meeting with the investor, it's quite important for that valuation figure to come through, right? That both the investor as well as the entrepreneur can agree upon. So we have a tool that can help you calculate the valuation of your firm. I will also briefly take you through that. As I'd earlier mentioned, we have various business experts who can help you with various aspects of fundraising or business building, going to market, etc. There are also science and technology experts on the platform, so we can help you set up one-on-one consultation sessions with them. Apart from that, we also have partnered with various service providers like AWS, ChargeBeam, Freshworks, Zoho, DishLotion, Vakil Search, etc. And collectively, through these partners, we are offering more than 30 lakh worth of credits and benefits for entrepreneurs that are part of the YNOS community. So this is a quick snapshot of the different services that we offer and how we believe that we can help you at YNOS. Before going forward, I think I will just quickly take you through the YNOS platform and showcase what we've built so far. Let me just. Before moving on, just checking if anyone has any questions on what we've discussed so far. No, let's move on then. All right. Rajni, just checking if the website is visible.
Yes, Bonnie.
Okay, thank you, Rajni. Yeah, so what you're seeing right now is the YNOS website, the platform that we've built over the last 5 years. It's called ynos.in. So on the home screen, as you see, there is a search bar where you can directly get into action. You can look up startups, angel investors, VCs, incubators, experts, and IP. You can also search for them by a particular name or any keyword, and then you can hit their contact details. So this will vary. This will depend on what is the channel that the investor prefers the entrepreneur, reaching out to them in. So it could be phone number, it could be email ID, it could be Twitter profile, LinkedIn. So whatever channel or whatever details we have, we do mention it over here. What are the kind of investments that they have made? So Anil Jain, 4 recent investments. What was the latest investment date? What is the average round typically? What is the size of the average round when Anil Jain typically participates? What is the average age of the startup when this particular investor typically invests? Then we have a very detailed profile on the investor, his background, etc. Public links, so his LinkedIn, Twitter, the prominent investment areas of the investor. So here you can see that Anil Jain typically invests in AI/ML, commerce and shopping, consumer electronics, energy, fintech, manufacturing, media and entertainment. Now, if you're a defense tech startup, again here there is going to be a mismatch, right? So defense tech doesn't really fit into his areas of investment. So it's quite pointless if you're, the likelihood is lesser if you're going to reach out to an Anil Jain to get his response. Then we also have his recent experience, education, the companies that he has previously invested in. So here you can look at the companies sector-wise, city-wise, based on their round size, investment year, age of the startup, as well as the incorporation year. Right? Then we have the key focus areas of the invested startups. And who are the other people that, the co-investors, right? Other investors that Anil Jain has jointly invested in. So we also have individual angel investors mentioned here. So co-investors in that particular round and in subsequent rounds. Right? So this is a detailed profile of any investor that we have on the platform. You can also download the report. And let's say you need to share this with your co-founder, with your team. You can just download it and then share it with them for further processing. Right? So all of the details that we saw on the platform is available right here. Right? So this is what you would see when you get into the Angels product. Next, let's look at the VC's product. I will just take you through the. So we looked at the Angels product, which is through the Angels product, you can identify the right angel investor for you through these various filters. Next, I'm going to take you through the VC's product. So the VC's is quite similar to the Angels product, only that we don't have individual angel investors, but institutional funds that we've listed on VCs. So we have VCs and angel networks, again, with their very detailed profile, the contact details, their investment history, etc. So the variables that we track for VCs are very similar to what we saw in angels. And we also have various filters that allow you to shortlist VCs. So we can filter them based on their background. Under background, we also have domicile. So if you're looking for investors from India or from outside India, there is a filter for that. And also the type of the VC, right? Whether it's a boutique firm, a corporate VC, etc. So we have them also classified based on the type. And then we have similar filters as angels. The startups they invest in, founders they invest in, industries as well as their investment pattern. So if you're at a stage where you want to approach VCs, then you can use the VC's product just like how the Angels product was mentioned. You can use the different filters and then shortlist VCs that might be relevant for you. Next, I also want to take you through the incubators product. So let's say you're looking to get incubated and you're quite unsure which incubator to approach. How does the incubator perform? Is there a way that you can benchmark your preferred incubator with other incubators? You can use the incubators product for it. So here again, there is a search bar where you can look up the incubator, various filters that allow you to shortlist the incubator based on that background. So here we have state, city. So let's say you're from Chennai and you're looking for an incubator from Chennai. You can just hit on this, select Chennai as a filter. And then we show that there are 59 incubators from Chennai. Right? You can also search for them based on their host organization. So are they an independent incubator or are they set up within a government university or a private university? So you can also use these filters to shortlist them. What is the kind of funding support that the incubator has received, right? So have they received funds from DST or the Atal Innovation Mission, etc.? There are various other filters that allow you to shortlist them based on that. Are they an incubator or are they an accelerator? So let's say I'm going to select accelerator here. none in Chennai. And so here we have various accelerators and details of their programs that are mentioned if you select the accelerator option. You can also filter them based on the number of incubators that they have, right? So if they are a fairly new incubator, it's likely that they have lesser than 10 startups. But if they've been established quite long ago, and if they have a huge number of incubator startups, you can select that as a filter. I've selected 50 startups and more. And I'm looking at incubators that have 84 incubated startups, 72 incubator startups, etc. Right? So these are incubators that have been established quite long ago, and they have a huge number of incubator startups part of the incubator. You can also shortlist them based on the startups that have gone ahead and raised funds, right? So successfully raised funds. So we have filters for that. And then based on the total number of investors who've invested into startups from that particular incubator. Right? So these are the various filters that you can use to shortlist the incubator. Let's just look at the kind of information that we have on each incubator. So this is AIC Banastali from Jaipur. So we have when were they founded, which city are they based out of, contact details again, how many incubated startups do they have, number of percentage of startups that have gone ahead and raised funds, right? So here we have 30% of these 84 startups that have successfully raised funds, which gives us an indicator of how the incubator is performing, right? A number of startups that are outside their base city. So here if we see, even though the incubator is based out of Jaipur, 88% of the incubators are outside Jaipur, right? The total funding that the incubator startup has collectively raised. We have a brief on the incubator, the various public links, their funding agencies, the incubated startups. So you can get a very detailed report over here. The key focus areas of the incubated startups, and then various investors who put in money, angel investors, funds, as well as financial institutions that have funded startups that are part of the incubator. Right? So you get a detailed profile of any incubator, again, that is part of the incubator's product. So that's the incubator's product for you. Next in line, I want to showcase Insight. So Insight is, it's a dashboard that we've recently revamped that you can sort of look at to get a very, broad view of how a particular sector is currently faring. So we have 3 dashboards under Insight. We have startups, angels, and VCs. So if you're looking to understand, let's say you're operating in the fintech sector and you're looking to understand how are other fintech sectors, how are other fintech startups performing, you can just select fintech as a filter. And the startup dashboard gives you an idea of the number of startups in fintech in India, how are they spread across India, what are the kind of funds that they have raised, etc. So here you see 8,676 fintech startups. 2.71 trillion rupees is the kind of investment that they have collectively raised. The total secured loan that they have taken, average age of a startup in the fintech sector, and average age of the founding team. We also see how are they spread across India, how across many years, how have they been incorporated, details of the top recently funded startups in the fintech sector, the age of the founding team at the time of incorporation, how are the funded startups in the fintech sector spread across India. So various visualizations, various data that you can take advantage of. If you're just starting up, if let's say you're in the ideation stage, you're trying to study a particular sector before you get into it, or you're already operating in a particular sector and you want to understand that particular sector or your competitors a lot better, you can use the startups dashboard here. Similarly, there are various visualizations that we offer through the angels and VCs dashboard. So here again, you get similar information on angel investors, various data points, various visualizations. So similarly, let's say I want to look at all angel investors who invested into biotech sector. It gives me a very bird's eye view, right? So it tells me 71 angel investors have previously invested into biotech, total startups they've invested in, average age of the investor, average age of the startup at the time of investment, how are they spread across India? So I can see that most of the angel investors who've invested into biotech have come in from Maharashtra. followed by Karnataka, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, and also Haryana. Right? Which cities are they from? Top angel investors, etc., etc. Right? So various visualizations that you can take advantage of to sort of make much more informed decisions at every point of building your business. Right? So this is the Insight product for you. Next up, I also just want to show you the Verve tool. Verve, as I mentioned, is a tool that helps you identify, estimate the valuation for your venture. So before that first meeting with your investor, if you want to pull out a valuation report, understand how much should you be valuing your venture, we have a tool that can help you do that. Here again, the output depends on the input that you've given in your startup profile. There is a slider scale here where you can sort of move and mention, okay, I've not completely filled it in, which is why this message is coming through. So you can mention what is the total funding that is required. So it's a slider scale, you can move it and point to the total funding that you're looking for. And then based on the total funding required and the inputs that you've previously entered into your startup profile, the engine then calculates what is the mean valuation for your venture. And it also gives you a range that you can work with. Similarly, it recommends a mean shareholding percentage as well as a range for the shareholding percentage for your investor. Right? So here again, as I mentioned, the initial values that you enter into the form is quite critical because all of these outputs are based on that, based on the sector that you're operating in, the stage, etc., etc. Right? So that's the Verve product for you. Next, I also want to take you through Delphi and Consult. So these are two services that we offer through Delphi and Consult. You can set up one-on-one mentorship sessions with experts that we have on the platform. On Delphi, we have various science and technology experts. These are mostly, professors from leading tech institutions across India, like IITs, BITS, Indian Institute of Science, etc. So here again, you can shortlist the expert based on their area of expertise, whether you're looking for someone whose expertise is in aeronautics or biomedical engineering. So you can select based on their area of expertise, or you can also select them based on the institute that we are currently working at. So these are all the institutes from whom we have experts listed on the platform. Or you can also filter them based on the city, right? So let's say you're looking for experts from Bangalore. We have 16. Their detailed profile is mentioned. You can just go ahead and click on Ask, complete the payment, and YNOS will help you set up a consultation session. Similarly, if you're not looking at science and technology experts, but if you want a business expert with whom you can sort of run your strategy or your various aspects of legal aspects of running your business or fundraising, if you want to run your ideas by an expert in that field, you can approach, you can use the consult service that we have. Here again, the various domains that we help with and the various experts in that particular domain are mentioned. Their detailed profile is available. So you can study their profile and then click on consult, and YNOS will help you set up a one-on-one consultation session with it. Yeah. So with this, I am wrapping up the demo of YNOS Venture Engine. I will just pause to check if there are any questions on any of the products. I think there are some questions in the chat. Yeah, someone had a question?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Anagraj.
Yeah, so I'm Anagraj. Actually, I have a question
Yeah, sure.
regarding investment. So my company is in an ideation stage. So when I approached, I already subscribed YNOS. Okay. So when I approached the company, they said initially, even if you come with ideas, people will come for the investment. But right. Later on, once I started discussion that one of the the technical expert from USA. Later, they told like we need to show some revenues from our business. Okay. So only based on that, people come for investment. So my question is, so still to develop my idea, I need some investment. So that's the reason we are approaching you. So what's your input on that?
Right. So I think this is a very specific question, right? So for that, for me to give you a very, the app response for that, I will probably need to understand a little bit more in detail on what is it that your startup does? What is the traction that you've built so far? So yeah, as you rightly said, not every investor really wants to look at the revenue. There are investors who prefer investing in startups that are in the pre-revenue stage. What they do is look at the traction that you've built, right? Or even sometimes there are, even if you're just at the ideation stage, there are investors who are ready to invest in startups. So there are different kinds of investors and their preferences are varied. I think it depends on, the field the sector that you're operating in, what have you done so far in your journey as an entrepreneur with your startup, the traction that you've built. If that has, if that is sort of attractive enough for an investor interested in, a startup of your profile, they would be happy to initiate a conversation. But I think I'll need more details. I suggest, Alaka, that we can connect offline after the meeting,
Sure.
and then I think we can discuss this in detail.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for the answer.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hi, this is O'Neill. I have a question.
Hi, O'Neill. Please tell me.
Okay, so Bonnie, from what I understand, okay, let's say I go through this entire process. Okay, I identify based on whatever you just told me. Now, will YNOS facilitate our meeting with the investor, or how? What is your role in this? How would you help us? Now, I've identified the investor. I've identified everything. Yeah.
So are you a light subscription client or a starter package client?
I'm sorry, I didn't get you.
So there are two offerings that we have for entrepreneurs. One is the light subscription and the starter package.
No, I have a starter package. Yeah.
Starter package. Okay. So then, there is a recommended list of investors that we will pull out based on your discussion with the expert. They will, build a list of 6 investors that you can reach out to in the beginning. And what we would do is write on your behalf to the investor, right? Introduce you to the investor. Because YNOS is an intermediary, we can sort of introduce you rather than you reaching out directly. That is also okay. If you would like to write to the investor directly, that's completely fine. But if you'd like introduce YNOS to give you a reference, right, a recommendation, we can help you do that. So we will basically introduce you to the investor, and then post that it's between you and the investor to take it forward.
Okay, so before the introduction to the investor, would you be grooming us or no? Okay, because you know the investor better. Okay, correct. So what are the kind of things that they will require? What is the investor looking at?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So that will be done, right? So the 6 investors that will be shortlisted, one will be relevant to the domain that you are operating in. And because we know their profile, because we know their background, we will ensure that, the pitch deck or the business plan that you put together will be customized to that particular investor. So that grooming happens in the review sessions that you have with our expert.
Okay, so my last question is, okay, now if I have already prepared a pitch deck, now once I give the pitch deck for review, if there's anything that needs to be done, so the inputs for the pitch deck will be done by you, or would you suggest that for me to change them, or how does that work?
So the inputs will be suggested by the expert. I'm not sure who your expert is, but whoever you're working with currently, they would then review your pitch deck and give you inputs to sort of improve.
Make the changes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Cool. Thanks. Onil. We have a few more questions. Arun Ramaswamy, also explain what the profile means under the investor. What does the investor profile mean? I'm not sure if I got your question, Arun. Are you asking me what does the profile mean? Okay. Arun, whenever you're ready, please do let me know. We can speak. Kiran has a question. Does YNOS build pitch deck, business plan, and the price they're going to charge, or will the founders be preparing the pitch deck and YNOS will only oversee and share inputs? You mentioned, okay, so 2 questions. So first question is, so we will not be, putting down the pitch deck because, you know your startup the best. But at the same time, there is no requirement that, the pitch deck needs to be of a particular level for the expert to pick it up. Whatever rudimentary, the first draft of the pitch deck that you prepare, since you know your startup, you as an entrepreneur, as a founder, know your startup really well, we'll encourage you to put down the details into a very rudimentary format, a PPT, and then just share it with the expert. And then the expert will work with you in sort of improving it. So, we will help you finalize that pitch deck in bringing it to a fashion that is appropriate for us to forward to the investor. But the initial draft is something that the entrepreneur needs to work on, right? And here again, if you need help with, what should be the format, right? What are the various aspects I need to cover in the pitch deck? We can help you with that. You mentioned investment round of 60 million rupees. Yeah, it is rupees. The currency is rupees. Karthik Gunasekar has a question. Can you filter across categories within a product or only with a filter category?
So hi, yeah, Moni. So yeah, Karthik here.
Yeah.
So you remember, like, you had within each of your products, you had the top section, and within them you had like about 7 or 8 different filters. And then I saw that you were checking and then demonstrating the refine, but then you were unchecking when you were moving on to the next category at the top layer, right? My question is, are you able to retain those selections as you move across those categories, or were you just doing it as part of your demo?
Yeah, I was just doing it as part of the demo, but you can select, let's say, state Tamil Nadu, sector, defense tech.
Okay.
So you can do that. Yeah?
Good.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
Shailaja has a question. Please clarify on consult, top-notch advisors, and on Verb and Delphi. What's the difference, even if they look similar? Clarity. How is it better than VC's option on your website? Okay. So, Shailaja, just clarifying. So let me just share my screen and show you the product page again. I think there is some confusion between the various products. So Shailaja, for your, to clarify, so we have Delphi and Consult, which are one-on-one mentorship sessions, right? So on Delphi, we have science and technology experts. So these are the various professors I mentioned from leading technical institutes across India. So these are people who can help you with any technological aspect of your business. So let's say you're a deep tech startup, or you need help with the the sort of technology aspect of building the product, right? So then you can reach out to an expert on Delphi. Whereas if you need help with any business aspect of your startup, how do you, from the ideation stage, how do you go on to the next stage? How do you test it out? How do you go ahead with fundraising? How do you register your company? So any business aspect that you have, that you need clarification on, you can then reach out to experts that we have on Consult. So this is Delphi and Consult. Finally, you also asked about Clarity. So Clarity are essentially, if you're an entrepreneur who's part of the YNOS community, there are various sessions that we conduct on a regular basis. On a monthly basis itself, there are around 3 to 4 sessions that we conduct. This is not part of it. This is a demo, right, of the YNOS platform. But then we have various experts who come on board and talk about registering company, or how you can efficiently use the YNOS platform to identify the investor, various aspects of fundraising. So there are various experts who come on and talk about, these various themes that will benefit an entrepreneur, and those come under the Clarity sessions, right? So once you become part of the YNOS community, my teammate Ranjini, you'll be sort of bombarded by Ranjini with on various sessions that we conduct. You can just register and then be part of all of those sessions. So by becoming part of the community, you also get access to these workshops and knowledge sharing sessions. I hope that clarifies. Rajendra, does YNOS help us to evaluate the company valuation? Yes. So Rajendra, as I mentioned, we have this tool called Verb, wherein again, the expert will sort of help you once you've entered all the startup details. Once that is reviewed through the Verb product, we can help you calculate the valuation of your firm. So yeah, that is taken care of too.
Yeah, Bonnie, one question.
Yeah,
Rajendra here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Rajendra.
The valuation is done, but even I shared the pitch deck with your team also. I hope I'm in touch with the Vignesh.
Okay.
But we have some question, because actually we have done the valuation based on the DCF method and as a preliminary valuation, as the projected valuation. So when we had the 2-3 round interaction with the VCs recently, So we find that actually the valuation, what they're looking is based on the current ARR, the annual revenue. But the valuation we did based on the, is a proposed valuation, I can say the projected valuation.
Right.
So even if you want to do it in the based on the current ARR value, in what basis you have to do, and is that work tools will help me to get that done, or any?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we can set up another call with Vignesh, Rajendra,
Okay,
and we can share this feedback with Vignesh.
Yeah.
So then we can sort of relook at the way we've approached the valuation and help you calculate based on the feedback from the investor. So not a problem. We will set up a consultation. I think Pramila is also part of this call.
Yes.
So
and really thank you. And people are.
Thank you so much, Ravi. Thank you so much.
Hi, Bonnie O'Neill. I have one more question. Very quick one.
Yes.
Shall I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Bonnie also wanted to know, will YNOS also help validate the idea that I'm working on or the product? Do you also do that?
Yes, absolutely. So no matter what aspect of the business that you need help with, we can do that through the review sessions that we have. So yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bibin has a question. How many idea state startups got funds through YNOS? So here I think I want to sort of elaborate on something, which is YNOS doesn't really participate in any of the conversations that you have with the investor, right? So we don't take any stake. There is no participation from YNOS in any of the advanced conversations that an entrepreneur has with the investor. We right now prepare the entrepreneur to become, investor ready, and then introduce you to the investor so that you are well equipped and have, the capacity built in to sort of pitch yourself to the investor. But post that, it is between you and the investor, right? YNOS has no role there. And so, we don't really track that information. And we're not a part of any of those conversations too. So I also just want to clarify. Thank you so much, Vibin, for that question. Karthik has another question. Does YNOS conduct or facilitate networking events offline or remote where pre-selected startups can pitch to investors who are actively interested? Absolutely, Karthik. So currently we've been running these online pitch sessions. But if an investor has a requirement, definitely we can also facilitate that offline. So we do run, there are training sessions that we do offline. But happy to discuss this in detail with you sometime offline and understand what your requirement is. Yeah. Thanks, Karthik. Perfect. So I think we had a lot of questions. I have one last slide that I just want to show you before we wrap up. So I took you through what are the ways in which YNOS can help you in terms of fundraising and other benefits. Just also want to show you what are the various packages that we have. We have YNOS Lite, which is basically access to the platform through the YNOS Lite subscription, which is priced at 9,999, 10,000 rupees per annum. You get access to all of the YNOS products that I mentioned for the period of 1 year. You get access to the webinars, the workshops, and the various AMAs that we host. You get access to the Subscription Benefits Plus program, which is the 30 lakhs worth of credits and benefits that I have spoken about. And you also get priority access to the pitch sessions that are conducted by YNOS in partnership with various VCs and agent networks. So that is YNOS Lite. Just beyond, the access to the platform, if you also need help with sort of putting the pitch deck together, you need help with the experts reviewing various ideas, as you mentioned, if you need help with idea validation, putting together your business plan, etc. I would recommend the YNOS starter package, wherein it includes everything that the YNOS Lite includes. So access to YNOS products for the period of 1 year. But in addition to that, we also have review sessions that we set up with the YNOS technology and business experts. So these are 3 review sessions of roughly 30 minutes to 1 hour each, wherein you can set up a one-on-one. We set up a one-on-one call for you with a technology or a business expert based on what problem you're trying to solve. We introduce you to 6 recommended investors. So you help get that first meeting with an investor. In addition to that, you also get access to the other services that I mentioned. So webinars, workshops, Subscription Benefits Plus, and also access to the flash pitch sessions. So the YNOS Lite package is currently priced at 10,000 per annum. and the YNOS startup package is priced at 25,000 per annum. We are running an offer until the 31st of March 2023, until the end of this month, wherein we are giving 1,000 rupees off on the YNOS Lite and a 2,000 rupee off on YNOS starter package. So you can use the two coupon codes I mentioned, Lite 10P or SP2K, to sort of avail of the discount and complete the purchase if you're interested in purchasing by the end of this month. So I have a couple of links that I just want to share in the chat window. Yeah, so I've just mentioned the details to you. So you can just head out to the YNOS pricing page, apply the coupon code, whatever it is that you're interested in, and then complete the payments if you're interested in making the purchase by the end of this month. I'm also sharing a couple of other details. If you'd like to know more about the YNOS team or have few more questions, I know we couldn't really get into a lot of details today because this is a session for a larger audience. But if you have more questions, please feel free to reach out. Professor Tillai Rajan is the co-founder of YNOS. Ramesh Kuruva is the CEO. I head business development. So I've mentioned our LinkedIn profiles. If you have any sales inquiries, please reach out to this particular number, or you can also write an email to sales@ynos.in. Yeah. So I also just quickly want to show you what happens. So you can just head on to the pricing page. You will see Lite subscription and starter package. These are the two packages that we have for entrepreneurs. Please don't go for the regular subscription or the institutional plan. That's something that we've designed for universities, incubators, VC funds, etc. So what would be most relevant for you is the Lite subscription plan or the starter package plan. If you're interested in Lite subscription, just go ahead, click on buy now, enter the coupon code Lite 10P, click on apply coupon. You will get the the product at the price of 9,000 rupees. Click on pay now and complete the payment. Yeah. All right. So that's it from me. I hope that the session was useful. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. But thank you so much for attending. Thank you for staying till the end of the session. Very, very much appreciated. If there are any other challenges that you're facing as an entrepreneur, we are open to having a conversation to understand how is it that we can help you. The entire reason I say this all the time that I speak to entrepreneurs is that the entire reason that we built YNOS was for entrepreneurs, and so I hope that you can use the YNOS platform and benefit from it. We also have if you just want to test out the platform, you can just register on the platform and play around for a bit before you make the decision to whether go ahead or not. So I leave it to you. I hope this session was useful. Thank you so much for staying back. Very much appreciated, and all the best for your venture.